Pizza!
Pizza! Pizza, pizza, pizza! Everybody loves pizza.
Welcome, you oh-so-delicious legions of the Eats Empire, to another delectable episode. Some might argue that pizza is the perfect food. A pizza combines sustenance, visual artistry, flavor, and nutrition in a dish that has won over the world as the ultimate comfort food. On this episode, I will describe my recipe for perfect pizza dough made in a bread machine. If you'd rather jump straight to the recipe, go to eatsempire.com and look under the Recipes tab for the downloadable document. On my other podcasts about using a bread maker, I try to mention the importance of using the proper ingredients and measurements to achieve the best results. For pizza dough, regular all-purpose flour is perfect. You don't need or want the high gluten content of bread flour. Use filtered or bottled water, as tap water contains varying amounts of chlorine that can inhibit the yeast activation. Using cheap vegetable oil works just fine, but feel free to use olive oil if you want. I am using Red Star Active Dry Yeast. Any active dry yeast will do the job. One thing to keep in mind, for pizza dough, I dial back the yeast compared to my recipes for bread dough. We want the dough to rise, but not too much. For this demonstration, I'll be using a model 5814 by Oster. It's another in what I call the Blocktoid style bread machines. I'm measuring the amounts for 3 dough balls that will make 3 12-inch pizzas. If you go to eatsempire.com/recipes, you'll find a link to the downloadable recipe with measurements for 1, 2, and 3 dough balls. The reason I like prepping 3 dough balls at a time is that when I'm baking pizza number 1, I'll pre-bake 2 crusts and freeze them for another day. You'll start with 1½ cups slightly warm water. Add 3 tablespoons of oil. I'll be using the cheap store-brand vegetable oil for this batch. Use your same tablespoon that you use to measure your oil to measure your honey if that is the sweetener you're using. The oil on the tablespoon helps keep the honey from sticking to your measuring spoon. Measure 4 cups of flour, 1½ teaspoons of salt, and 1¼ teaspoons of yeast. First, spray or oil your pan and the dough paddle. Then, add your liquids. After that, your dry ingredients, and finally, the yeast. Now, place your pan in your bread machine, plug it in, select the dough setting. On this model, it's number 9. Then, hit start. After 90 minutes, your dough is ready. You'll have 3 10 to 11 ounce dough balls, enough for 3 medium round pizzas or 2 large rectangular pizzas. If you decide to pre-bake and freeze any or all of your dough, preheat your oven to 400 degrees, press your dough out into whatever pan you desire and bake for 10 minutes. Allow the crust to completely cool, then wrap and freeze.